Hey guys, in this short Devo, we're going to talk about what it means to let go and cast away our earthly sin and focus more on the ideas of Christ and what He intends for us and what we need to focus on. Before we get into that, if you love the content here, would you mind subscribing to this channel and liking this video? It really helps us bring you this quality content every day. And if you want more content like this, go ahead and subscribe, because that's what we're coming out with this every single day. So the verse today is going to be from Colossians 3:2-5, and I'll go ahead and read it right now. Let your minds on things above, not on earthly things. For you died, and now your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is in your life, appears, then you will appear with Him in glory. Put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature: sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, and greed, which is idolatry. Because of these, the wrath of God is coming. So a few things here. First of all, we need to recognize when we were sinners, we didn't have God's intentions in our lives. And we were sinning. We had evil desires. We had our earthly nature. The fact that we are here on earth as humans, our earthly nature, sexual immorality, impurity, and the list goes on of things that we did when we were in sin. But the key thing that I think we need to take away from this, in a big overarching picture, is that we're not in sin anymore. When we become Christians, when we accept Jesus into our hearts, our minds shouldn't be focused on the evil desires anymore. And that doesn't mean we're not going to struggle sometimes. And that doesn't mean that we're not going to fall, because we will, because of our earthly nature. But when we strive for God, and when we put His ideas and His the things that He tells us to do in our lives, that just strengthens our faith even more. And really, this is calling us as Christians to a higher standard, because we need to put away all our earthly nature, which is so key to acting out a godly life. When we continue in these sexual immoralities, this impurity, this lust, this evil desires and greed, we aren't doing what God has intended for Christians to do and for everybody to do. We need to focus on what God has in mind for our lives and not what we think is best. And we need to switch over to His plan and to His path instead of our own. And more specifically, we need to put to death. We need to remove. We need to take away those evil desires. Not just put them in our back pocket and say, I'm good enough, it's something that I have, but it's fine. We need to really focus up and be like, this is not good. Let me eradicate it. Let me not just put away. Let me seriously think about what I'm doing here and get rid of it. Burn it in lava. Something like that type of imaginary situation in your brain. Just when we think about the things that God calls us to do, we need to do those things, and we need to not have a way out in our own path and our own earthly desires. We need to be fully focused into God. Because when we are Christians, we're set apart from the wrath that other people here on earth would get when the judgment day comes. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not going to be judged by God, because we will be. We all will be judged by God. But when He sends, the unbelievers to hell, and when they do not accept Him as Jesus Christ, we get to go to heaven. We get that opportunity when we are focused on God, and when we accept Him, and when we are believers, and we have that in our heart, we can go and we go to heaven. And that's something that is joyous. But it also brings us great sorrow, because we understand that some people who are living immoral lives, and some don't call themselves Christians, but some do. And those people, that's so sad, because we know and we understand that that's not right for their lives, but yet they continue in it anyways. And we need to be praying for those people. But kind of in the end here, guys, let's eradicate our earthly sin, our earthly behavior. And that does not mean we're not going to struggle, but that means that we need to strive continually for God and what He has in store for us. Because we are saved by God, and we're no longer pursuing those evil desires, and we're no longer engaging in them. Thank you, guys.